Welcome back to the review space. This is gonna be my review of Backlash from September 11, 2016. Backlash last night aired, the pay-per-view. It's finished, so right off the bat, we get Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan thanking the fans for Smackdown Live's improved ratings and the solid competition against Raw. And then they introduce the upcoming title matches, including the Women's Six-Pack Championship, which is right next. That's the first match of the pay-per-view. We start off the show with the women's title match for the inaugural SmackDown Women's title. And Naomi really stood out in this match. Initially, she had some great offense, doing a slingshot crossbody to the outside against all the other women. Very impressive. She also hit Alexa Bliss with a falling neckbreaker from the top rope, more commonly known as a blockbuster, with Natalya simultaneously had her positioned into a power bomb, so it was definitely a great high spot. Naomi pinned Alexa Bliss 1, 2, 3, and Alexa Bliss was the first one eliminated. Some of the crowd was booing. I don't think people expected her to be the first one gone. By the way, Alexa Bliss, she looked really good. She was sporting the Harley Quinn pigtails from the Suicide Squad movie, the Harley Quinn hairstyle. I haven't seen the movie, but I did see the trailer a long time ago. And that image of Harley Quinn, this new Harley Quinn, is everywhere nowadays. Cosplays, action figures, etc. So it's obviously quite easy to distinguish. The other women started getting quickly eliminated afterwards. Naomi was out, Natalya was out, Carmella took out Nikki. Surprisingly, too, it was just basically just she pulled her hair down, or she pulled her back, and then she got, it's like a slam, just a regular slam on the ground. Ultimately, Becky Lynch finished Carmella off with a disarmor submission. It looks like they teased Nikki and Carmella a bit, but the two never really got into it, so I wouldn't be surprised if this feud continues. So Becky is interviewed after the match. She thanks the fans, and as the camera pans to the crowd, I caught a glimpse of a fan wearing a CM Punk UFC t-shirt. And just for the record, CM Punk lost his UFC debut match against Mickey Gall at UFC 203 last Saturday. He submitted via rear naked choke at round 1, lasted just a bit over 2 minutes. My initial venture into this was going to be at the lowest level, according to CM Punk. He said in a post-fight press conference, This opportunity just got presented to myself, and I would have been a fool to say no. I don't know what happens from here on out. What if I get cut? I don't know. I think that's a possibility. Do I want that to happen? No. But who's to say where I go from here? I don't know. I definitely want to keep going. Punk will walk away from Cleveland with a bad cauliflower ear and stitches on his right eyebrow. That might keep him out of training for a bit, though he said if it were up to him, he'd be back at Rufus Sport on Monday. So CM Punk, he's not sure if he'll stay in the UFC, but he says he wants to keep fighting. Man, he got absolutely destroyed at UFC 203. I mean, he submitted really quite one-sided match. I mean, it didn't even, he got taken down really quickly in that match, and he was kept down on the ground the whole time, and he just couldn't really fight his way out of that particular submission. That rear naked choke just destroyed CM Punk. So he got what he wanted. He was able to fight, and I like that Mickey Gall was able to use the "Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you blow 'em up." That theme song was so funny. That was great. They were able to use that. CM Punk, of course, used Cult of Personality, but not the WWE version, of course, where that and it's like a shortened, edited version. He used the actual version, the original version of Cult of Personality by Living Color, which is cool. So we get a quick promo backstage. We see The Miz knock on somebody's door named Jagger Eaton. Then the door opened up. Some young kid who looks no older than maybe 14, 15 years old starts talking. He says he's from Nickelodeon. But the way he was speaking, this kid was like the most robotic, most rehearsed delivery I've ever seen. He's like, "Oh, Miz, there you are. Oh, would you like to be in my movie?" It was just horrible. I have no idea if this kid he was just nervous or simply a bad actor, but he was pretty bad to the point that, the crowd started chanting, "What?" every line that he said. And then he said, "Have your people call my people," and then slammed the door into Miz's face. Some of the crowd laughed, that was kind of funny, but at least Miz, he sold well for this kid, made him look like a chump, and the kid was like a star. And then we also get a quick beatdown with Bray on Randy Orton, laying the smackdown on Randy backstage. The Usos take on the Hype Bros as a fill-in match. This was another fill-in like qualification for the SmackDown tag titles. I guess American Alpha was taken out with Chad Gable's legs being targeted by the Usos last SmackDown. They're working some kind of angle. I mean, I hope he's really not, injured, obviously. Not a bad match. The Usos wearing traditional heel color of an all-black attire, so very old school. They, black gear, black shirt, everything was black. Mojo Rawley is really very infectious. His energy is awesome every time he does a big move and he gets hyped. Zack Ryder is very good as well. His selling is awesome. High risk maneuvers, he's doing like Frankensteiners. Very impressive for Zack Ryder. The Usos hit the calf kick, or as I call it, the injury kick to Ryder, and then they used the Tequila Sunrise, I don't know if it's Jimmy or Jay, the Tequila Sunrise submission to win the match. This was Conan's old finishing move from WCW back in the 90s, so it was kind of cool to see. We get Dolph Ziggler taking on The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. The crowd got into the match gradually as it went on. It kind of started off a little bit, kind of dead. The crowd was a little bit dead at the beginning, but by the end of it, the crowd was got a little bit hot. Maurice sprayed Dolph with some kind of liquid, just typical like spray, kind of like a perfume thing. Miz hit the skull-crushing finale. He retained the Intercontinental Championship. We got Kane taking on Bray Wyatt. Apparently, Randy Orton wasn't medically cleared or something like that against. He was attacked by Bray earlier backstage. I'm guessing Randy is legitimately injured in real life. Maybe his shoulder is bugging him again, so he can't compete against Bray. It was a cool moment when Bray hit the senton on Kane. That was nice. To the announcer's table outside, Randy still came out, hit the RKO on Bray. Kane gets the chokeslam finish, 1, 2, 3, gets the win over Bray. So unfortunately, you got Bray still jobbing out at this day and age, particularly to an old-timer like Kane, so that is so sad. Anyway, Rhino and Heath Slater taking on the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Championships. They win and become the first ever SmackDown Tag Champs. They got the blue SmackDown, the belt's looking good with a silver plate. Awesome. Rhino hit the gore on one of the Usos. Slater gets the pinfall, 1, 2, 3. Also gets a WWE contract according to the storyline, so that was cool. AJ Styles taking on Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Championship. They went back and forth, a lot of action here. They used the ring environments, particularly Dean taking the offense to AJ. Later on, AJ hit the low blow on Dean when the referee was basically hit. He gives Ambrose the Styles Clash and pins Dean, 1, 2, 3, becomes the new WWE World Champion. AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, is the new WWE Champion. Wow, this is incredible. Absolutely amazing. Never really realistically think that by the end of the year that AJ would be champion, but this is what, like 8 months when he debuted at freaking Royal Rumble, and now he's the WWE champion. That's really one of the fastest rising, like from a debut, brand new character from a different company, and then he comes in and he becomes champion. Holy fucking shit, that's amazing. AJ is just, he really is one of the best wrestlers of this generation. This guy is phenomenal, for real. And his character is just great, this fucking asshole bully character, and he's calls himself the face of WWE. It's awesome. So this was an overall pretty good pay-per-view Backlash, despite, having a pretty small roster, this gutted brand split. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to No Mercy, the next SmackDown pay-per-view. And even Clash of Champions, I'm kind of looking forward to that too, but SmackDown is doing pretty good right now. So that's it for this episode of Review Space. Check out the channel for more videos and wrestling-related topics, top 10s, all that good shit. And until next time, peace.